He's got a better preacher than me. I remember my preacher, and even then thinking like, this guy's not really cutting it up there. He's all red faced and bald. Like, why are we paying for this guy's housing and his car and his what? Do we pay for that guy's kids' clothes? I remember asking my mom that one time. Like I was like, so who pays for Raymond's clothes? Raymond's like the preacher's son. She's like, well, the preacher does. I was like, okay, but you said we pay him. Yeah. I was like, so do we buy Raymond's clothes? If we give more Sunday, does he get better clothes? And we had this little talk, and at the end of it, I was like, this is a fucking scam. Raymond's getting this money. I thought that because they give the kids the money to put in the plate. Like it's like,
let you be a part of it.
Be part of it. You put the money in the little gold plate as it comes around. And I thought I was giving God some ones because he needed that shit. I thought he was up there making something happen.
He's a stripper. He does shit for once.
He does shit for once. Look, every little bit helps. All right. And when I found out the opposite, I was blown away. That may be when I lost my faith. That or when those old men started speaking in tongues, and I was just like, bro,
that's pretty bizarre.
My dad yells at me when I do that at the table. Like there's no way that you can get away with it here in front of all these adults.
I remember I went to a church with a friend when I was very young, and they went to one of those speaking in tongues churches. Wild. It was wild, and I think it might have even been a slow day. I only saw like 2-3 people tonguing out, and it was like pretty. It was a lot for like a 7-year-old, because I was used to like regular boilerplate church where like the main concern as a 7-year-old is like, if he doesn't wrap it up soon, then me and Alex and the neighborhood boys, they're going to get home from their church first, and then they're going to get the good side of the creek for our airsoft fight, or like whatever the concern was. But yeah, that was a different day. I was kind of transfixed on it and like, what? Whoa, what's this guy?
Did you guys sing and dance?
No, there was no dancing at any church I went to, but there was singing.
What did y'all do in there? My God, did you do handbells, choir?
No, if we were just out in the audience, it was just singing and clapping.
You go to Sunday school first and then like the main service? Did you do the whole thing?
Yeah, we would have to do that sometimes. And that was, that was brutal as like a 10-year-old, because Sunday school was like an hour and then church was an hour. And then my mom would like stand around and chat with all her church friends for like another hour. And so then I'm like getting home at 2 p.m. and it's like, well, most of my Sunday is gone now. Like I was not a fan.
Got here, we did tongues. We had the choir going. I was in the handbells. I did everything in the church there for a few years.
Was it because did you try a more important instrument and were you relegated to handbell?
Oh no! You misunderstand. It was a handbell choir. It was like 25 kids all with and like.
Oh.
Children singing wasn't brutal enough. Children singing with handbell choir, like this is auditory terrorism.
Church of God, Taylor. Handbells is step A. That's their top of the line.
I'm not familiar with Church of God and their specific beliefs. What like spin-off are they? I'm sure Wendigoon
would know better than me, because I I went through it, but I had nothing to compare it to, so I don't know.
From my understanding, I know Church of Christ better, and I used to think they have similarities, but I actually don't now. They came off of like the holiness movement in the 50s, if I remember right. They're not as far down the path of like spiritualism as say Pentecostal or like holiness denomination churches. Yeah, but they're kind of this weird midline of like not quite faith healer, but also not quite like Presbyterian Methodist, like, like formality to the worship either. I think it was just like a weird split because there's not many of them. I think it was like a weird splinter that came off during the 50s when like all the different denominations started to spread out across the Southeast.
I felt like it was the blue collar church, whereas the big Baptist church was the white collar church. Like there was a really fancy Baptist church, but that tiny town, Woody's been there in Livonia, Georgia. Woody, I think there's 5 churches in that town. I think there's like at least 5 churches.
There is 5 more than that town.
I would need to like check out mentally for a minute and like do a mental drive through my old hometown to like pick them all out. But I think there's like 5 churches with a population of 19,000 or something like that. Like it's nothing.
Was the Church of God the closest church to your house?
No. We drove past a couple churches to get to the Church of God. Look, again, brutal. Very small town though. Like we're talking about a 7-minute drive versus a 5-minute drive.
Did your parents ever tell you like, we go to this one because of XYZ. We don't go to the Baptist church next door. We drive 35 minutes to this one.
Well, my dad was like he didn't get along well oftentimes with it seemed like the husbands of my mom's friends or like those little like cliques and stuff. Like he would be real protective of my mom, maybe a little too jelly sometimes, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he could like mess things like that up. I know that I never got to be a Boy Scout. I was only a Cub Scout because some of those Cub Scout dads were looking at my mom too much. And my dad was about to be a Bear Scout and whoop somebody's ass.
Okay, so you were more a Church of God guy because you'd been kicked out of the Lutheran.
No, not kicked out. We hadn't tried out the Baptist church. I don't mean that. I just mean that one seemed to be the more white collar church. We went there occasionally, but it was usually that we were a guest of someone. The one that we went to was my grandmother's church because we were going to like be with her for services because they went every Sunday. So we went every Sunday. My dad did not go. He could be drugged there maybe once a year, but you could tell there was a fight beforehand and after. He did not want to go there, and I didn't want to go either.
It's important to put up a fight even if you know you lose to make it less apt to ask for it next time.
Yeah, my dad had a really bad experience, I think, with religion. His brother died of cancer. Like a very close brother died of cancer, and they went to a faith healer somewhere. Not a faith healer. I guess it kind of is. They went to one of those churches where they do miracles because it was like
that'll do it. Yeah,
this guy was dying, and it was like he wanted to go. So dad like flies him up to I don't remember where, but he said the preacher's like, "Who believes in the Lord?" And then everybody like raised their hand. I believe in the Lord. Who's got $100 for the Lord? And it's like dad's like, you got to pull out $100 because like you don't want to be the guy without $100 because everybody pulled out $100. You know what I mean? And like it was just this whole bullshit healing scam like that. I'm sure probably like gave them a little bit of hope when there was.
Dang, man.
So I never really talked to him about that, but my guess is that's why he didn't want to come to Sunday school at the Church of God.
That would sour you on
They
it.
come on too hard when they steal your cat. I have a similar experience in that when Hope was a little kid, we got her into this Catholic preschool, or maybe it's a Catholic kindergarten, and we wanted her to go to that school 1 through 8. Well, the way this school worked is kindergarten was like tryout to see just how much gosh darn time, talent, and treasure they could extract from you to see if you are the kind of person they want in 1st through 8th grade or whatever it is. And sure enough, we're there fucking basket weaving and Habitat for Humanity and giving them cash every week. They're like, it doesn't matter how much money we give you, how much money you give, only that you give regularly. And oh, by the way, you don't just put money in the tray that they pass around. No. We're going to ask for your routing number and your account thing so we can make withdrawals directly from your bank. And I'm like, the fucking kind
my wife doesn't have that information.
And dude, it was just such a God, I'm upset to revisit this topic. Like the thievery that those Catholics had was criminal in my mind, and the brainwashing that I'm sitting around here. The guy, the preacher, had no value. He was 1,000 years old. I couldn't understand his words. It was just a test of endurance that all those days of detention in high school had prepared me for, to sit through this lecture. And I don't know. Basically, she was like first on the waiting list, which I took to be like, oh, they got a fucking whale on the hook here. Oh, you're one person away. Got any more of that time, talent, and treasure? And I'm like, suck my fucking dick. We're out. We don't want anything to do with your school. And they're like, okay, we have a spot. And I was like, you didn't hear me. Finger in the ass. It's how I like it. Some of this is paraphrased a little bit.
That's the boldest approach I've ever heard from. Like, I know tons of people who go to church, and like I've never heard one person tell me like, "Yeah, it's just part of tithing. You give your account and account number and routing number." Like that's insane. Every church I've ever been to is like they pass that little thing around.
When people see me ferociously anti-church, you need to know I didn't start that way. My family isn't that way. The church made me that way. This is their, what is it? They reap what they sow. This is what they sowed in me. Those fucking criminals were like just for nothing. They gave no value. They extracted so much. Do you know how much goddamn money I raised for them and gave and there's never enough They're evil people who will go to hell if there is a hell. That is the fucking Catholics.
Right at this moment.
It's the world's largest child raping organization. That's what they actually do. That's the value that they provide. They put penises in children's mouths, little boys. And I'm not for it. I'm not for it. Now, Dr. Disrespect might be your favorite streamer. Maybe he's your guy, but I'm against that kind of thing. I don't like aspiring pedophiles.
I think you're painting with a pretty broad brush here.
But I'm not down with the child sex, and I'm not down with the Catholic Church, which are one and the same.
I saw an article today. I think the Catholic Church is poor-mouthing or po-mouthing, as they say.
Po-mouthing.
Po-mouthing. Woody, you may not know, that's when someone pretends like they're low on cash. They come around po-mouthing, but you know that they've got it in their back pocket, and they're being. So the Catholic Church is crying. Their donations are down, membership is down. They're low on cash. I looked it up. 170 million acre real estate empire. they have an investment portfolio of over 15 billion, and this is 2 years old.
Good gosh,
crazy. They own their own country. Did we forget that?
They do. They have a nice little cutout, and everything's like marble and super nice.
Oh, I've been there.
All right, look.
Income wise, highest GDP
in the world. I would love to go. All right, so like 3 or 4 places I'd love to go. So I'd love to go into the bowels of the Pentagon, to the old parts of the Pentagon, and see what's in there. I bet there's some crazy shit. I would love to go to Fort Knox and get the real tour and see if there's any gold left. You know what I mean? See if we didn't just give that all to China 30 years ago. Maybe that place is fucking empty. And I'd love to go to the Vatican. I'd love to go deep into the bowels of the Vatican with some old wizened priest and his boy, and like the boy's holding the lamp and limping from whatever. And we go deep. I want to find, like, is the Ark of the Covenant is there? Is the spear?
I bet they got it.
Is the Spear of Destiny in there? Like, is the real Shroud of Turin in there? Like, what's in there? Is there something in there that would make me believe? Because I'd love to believe. I always say that. Like, I don't like the church, but I'd love it if there were a God. That would be swell. Wouldn't you love it if there were a God, Taylor? And you knew that, like you and your family would eventually be together forever in paradise with, like, God? I would love. I want that so much.
Yes, yeah. I think there's a desire in everyone, pretty much, to want.
I also would like to be Master Chief from Halo, though.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen. You're in your mid 40s.
Hey, okay. with advancements with the Spartan program, a mid-30s man could definitely hack it in the core. Okay, I'm not saying I could be Master Chief level, but I can handle my own. All right.
Well, you could turn this around in the next 3 years. I think you've got a chance. I think you're close.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.